No way the Pittsburgh Steelers are losing Mike Williams, and they're not mad about losing Mike Williams. The problem is the team he is being linked to is our arch rival, the Baltimore Ravens. The Steelers have no problem letting Mike Williams, their trade deadline acquisition from last year that made no impact on the offense whatsoever, walk in free agency. The weird thing that we're hearing now is that he's going to Baltimore. Baltimore is trying to play bargain bin in the free agent market, and they think Mike Williams could resurface and revive his career in Baltimore with Lamar Jackson and Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman and Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely and Derrick Henry, and the list goes on. And I'm not just going to name all Ravens players in this video today. This is Steelers Digest. We hate the Ravens, but right now, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Steelers Digest. We're going to be talking about the Steelers all season long. So much to talk about. We got free agency. We got draft. We got everything coming up here on Steelers Digest, and we are just getting started with this channel. Hit the sub button, join the club, Steelers Nation. Let's talk about our boy Mike Williams. We traded for him at the trade deadline, got him from the Jets. He was a free agent signing by the New York Jets, and the Steelers were like, you know what? We need a number 2 receiver. We couldn't get Brandon Ayuk. We couldn't get Cortland Sutton. We couldn't get pretty much anybody. Cooper Kupp we tried to get. Then the Rams decided they were going to be a playoff team. They did better than the Steelers last year when it was all said and done. Right now, we're in the market for a receiver. But that receiver is not Mike Williams. We made that mistake once, and we're not going to make that mistake again. The Ravens are in on Mike Williams. It is a dream signing for the Baltimore Ravens. If that's a dream signing, I like the way that season is starting to look already. Because if that's your number 3 receiver, number 2 receiver, whatever he's going to be, you're in trouble. The Ravens, bargain bin hunting, like I said a little bit ago, in free agency this offseason. They don't want to spend big money on a free agent. They're not going after T. Higgins. They're not going to try to trade for Debo. They're not going to try and trade for Cooper Kupp. No. They're going to take their bargain bin free agents. They think Zay Flowers is a 1. They think Rashad Bateman might be a 2. Mike Williams. Take him. That's my opinion. Take him. He's yours. We don't want him. He sucked for us. He sucked for the Jets. Guy hasn't been the same since his injury, and we'll get into that in just a little bit. They don't have much cap space to work with. That's the problem with being a contender every year. You got all this money that you spend on a bunch of pieces, and you have no free room to make more moves and to add to your team because you think your team's already a Super Bowl team. Well, the Ravens, they have a tendency to choke in the playoffs. We all know that. We love that. Watching the Ravens lose is just as fun as watching the Steelers win for us diehards. They can find some strong value in the bargain bin. I'm not denying that. All I'm saying is Mike Williams is not that. So here's the actual quote that was said about Mike Williams being a possible option for the Ravens. Without much cap space to maneuver, the Ravens will have a limited pool of free agent options. Cameron wrote, which is his name. One potential target to fill nicely is big-bodied ex-receiver Mike Williams. While he struggled in 2024, another offseason to regain his form post ACL surgery in 2023 could pay dividends. In 6 seasons with the Chargers prior to his injury, he posted a 72-plus PFF receiving grade each year, presenting a solid value if he can get back on track. Ravens could scoop him up easily in free agency. I don't really think that's a foreign concept at this point. I really don't. The Ravens are desperate. They know that despite all the talent that they have all the talent in the world. They need more pieces to put them over the top. They're not as good as Kansas City. They're not as good as Buffalo. They're not as good as, honestly, they might not be as good as Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh had a bad game last year. The last game of the season, our playoff game against the Ravens, that first half was one of the worst first halves I think I've ever seen, ever, in my life. As a Steelers fan, I don't think I've ever seen a first half that bad. And we still almost came back and won that game. Quite literally. We could have, some circumstances, dominoes didn't fall our way, but we could have came back and won that game. That's how bad the Ravens are in the playoffs. I don't care if they go get Cooper Kupp and Debo Samuel and add them to Zay Flowers. I don't care if they get Kyle Pitts to add instead of Mark Andrews, who decides he can't catch the ball in big moments. I don't care what the Ravens do. I really don't. I'm never giving these guys credit. They want to go get Mike Williams? Go get Mike Williams. You can have him. He had 9 catches for 132 yards and 1 touchdown in 9 games with the Steelers. That is abysmal. Abysmal. It's safe to say the club will move on from him. Absolutely, they're moving on from him. It's not even a question. But he could remain in the AFC North. Mason Cameron's his name from Pro Football Focus. He's the one that reported all this. He is labeling the Baltimore Ravens as an ideal landing spot. A perfect fit. A perfect fit for Mike Williams? Is that a real thing? Mike Williams made an immediate impact in his Steelers debut, catching a 32-yard game-winning touchdown. We all got excited about that against the Washington Commanders. However, that was his only production. And it really was his only production. He has a 25-yard grab in the Steelers' Week 18 game against the Bengals. It was nice. But not much else. He's a 50-50 receiver. He's a big-bodied guy. He's going to go up and get it. But he couldn't go up and get it. He didn't do a whole lot. He did it a couple times. That's it. He wouldn't get many targets. I'm not going to blame him. He wasn't getting the ball thrown to him because he's not getting open. Guy's not getting open either. And not knowing the playbook in full detail could be a problem for Mike Williams. That could have been one of the reasons why he struggled so mightily as he was traded midway through the season, but he never really got his footing with the Jets either. So regardless of if that's the excuse for Mike Williams, I think it all comes back to health for him. It all comes back to health for him because he wasn't the same player after the injury. And we're going to talk about the injury in just a second, but Williams went from catching the game-winning touchdown in Week 10 to not having a single target in Week 11 or 12. And it's not the role that we imagined for him when we traded for him. It's not good, but he was happy as long as we keep winning. For me, just do your assignment. That's what Mike Williams said. That's the main thing. You watch the film, you do your assignment, you be where you need to be. I mean, we're winning, so that's all that matters at this point. That was Mike Williams' mentality here. The Steelers could end up losing Mike Williams. That is the fact of the matter. It's probably likely. One scenario would be that he heads back to his old team, the Chargers. However, could the Steelers lose him to the Ravens? Pro Football Focus believes the Ravens would be a dream signing if they could pick up Mike Williams. And this was a report from so many different places. I mean, the amount of articles I saw today about this, I could not make a video about Mike Williams. This is one of the most relevant topics right now for the Pittsburgh Steelers is blowing my mind. It's going right over my head. I have no idea why this is the relevant topic right now. But we're talking about it. It's fun. It's really fun to talk about because Mike Williams is not good. If he could prove to me that he's good again after suffering his torn ACL with the Chargers in 2023, okay, sure, good signing, Baltimore, but it's such a low-risk, high-reward signing, it's not even a gamble because you're not going to have to pay him that much, and he's probably not going to do anything for your team at all, but if he does, everything's a plus. Everything that he does for you is a plus because you're not expecting anything out of this dude because he did nothing all year last year. He's not good. He's just not good. And his superpower is these 50-50 balls. His skill is being big. That's his skill. Ever since he was drafted, that's been his biggest trait is that he's huge. But he doesn't have the speed anymore. He doesn't have the route running that he had. If he really even had that much good route running in his time in LA either. Like, he pretty much was a go up and get it guy. His best route is a go route, pretty much. So, likely let him walk. Perfect spots for the Ravens, apparently, according to PFF, according to this dude, that's making everybody talk about it. SI's reporting about it. Penn Live's reporting about it. Everybody's talking about it. I'm like, why? It doesn't make any sense. So let's just nix that right now. Who cares? Who cares? What can one of you comment that you care? Can anybody out there say that you care about this at all? I don't, but I love talking about it. It's so fun. Thank you guys for watching this video, this absolutely ludicrous video, just like this ludicrous idea that Mike Williams going to the Ravens is some magical thing, a dream scenario. Oh no, the Ravens are getting Mike Williams. I'm not worried one bit. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you want more Pittsburgh Steelers content, and we'll keep it flying out every single day, the entire offseason. Drafts coming up, free agency. We're pumped. You should be too. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you on the next episode of Steelers Digest.